Thank you so much. Randy, tell us more about Urban Ed.
Sure. So we were started in 2010, as I mentioned, as a Saturday school, as a solution to reclaiming some seat time that we lost. You get a 180-day calendar year for school. And again, every minute of that day that's lost, we sort of see why there are some of the trends we've seen in terms of performance, student achievement. And so to just reclaim some of that time, we set up and tried to build this culture of expanding the school week to an idea that there could be a sixth day. The special part about Urban Ed Academy, though, that I have found, like Third Street, is that we really take pride in the staff, in the volunteers, and in the adults that we're putting in front of our children. And for us, our mantra has always been representation matters. And then sort of a subline of that would be, you can't be what you can't see. And so for our boys in particular, we know that men from our community are unicorns in the elementary space. Nationally, less than 2% of all teachers are Black men. And that number is certainly a lot smaller when you look at just the subset of elementary students. And so when you think about it, it's not, we felt like it's not rocket science, but as I think folks on this panel know for sure, and folks in the listening audience know, you can't always just get what you want when it comes to changing policies at schools or at the district, certainly. And so these barriers, whatever they were, to getting men in the classroom was something that we were tackling with relative ease from 2010 to 2016. And that was what was really attractive about it. And so that personnel model we've actually been able to build on in partnership with the school district, SFUSD, in partnership with the PUC, in partnership with the city, and a lot of folks that sort of took us under their wing, young community developers, 100 Point Family. We've done great partnership work with Third Street, 100% College Prep, taking the lessons they've learned and taking that and channeling it into how can we make an even bigger impact than what we were doing on Saturdays. So we've expanded at least the service opportunities we have from Saturday to now 6 days a week. We operate the Beacon Community School at Malcolm X Academy over on Harbor Road in Bayview. And we have an entire staff of color. Every person on our staff is of color. Every person on our board is of color. So we try to walk the walk of representation. But we've transitioned the personnel piece we had and the thoughts around cultural representation into that 30-hour-a-week position that is the classroom teacher, and how special that time is that person can provide with for our students. So again, looking at what the lay of the land was, we thought there was some space for us to be able to provide some help in being able to recruit and retain men of color to be in these classroom positions. The way we're doing that now is through a project called Man the Bay. And as everybody knows, it's crazy Bay Area place. In order to really be here and really serve well, you gotta be here. There's just no way around being remote. I don't care. You got all the tech gadgets you want. If you can't be in that school, you're not serving these kids. And in order to be in our schools, you got to live here. And so part of Man the Bay for us, the challenge on the back end, after we have the recruitment efforts we have, we're going directly to HBCUs across the country. I can share more about that later. But the biggest linchpin to it is getting housing. So I've been working with the PUC in particular and Swinnerton Builders, Rebuilding Together, and a couple other folks in the development space like Joy to be able to provide some housing options for our staff. But for the teacher recruitment piece in particular, that is an offering that we're giving as part of the recruitment package. We'll help you get a job, and along the way, we'll guarantee that you have housing so that you can be here and you can serve the way we need you to.
That's great. I'm actually going to launch a poll for folks. Totally want to sort of see.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Like your answers, and it's simply, what's the number of Black male teachers you personally had from K through 12 in your own educational experience?
I want to vote. I can't vote.
We can't vote. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can just say it.
Well, I'll tell you, my answer is 0, y'all.
Mine is 0 for both male and female education.
Wow.
Absolutely. 0.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just about to close the poll. Let's see if I can share results.
Wow.
Wow.
That's depressing.
Wow.
Most of us didn't.
And Anietie, thank you for putting that up. And just to give folks context to that, I begged Anietie to put this up because normally when we talk about this stuff, it's in person and we do just a regular hand poll. And these same results are just across the board what you see. So it's even more depressing in person when you see no hands go up in the beginning. Like, how many do you have? Actually trying to get numbers. Yeah. And then when it's 0, everybody's hand goes up and it's like, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I want to add to that. It's not just what you can't, I love what you say. You can't be what you can't see. It's also you can't be what you can't read. And I never read any Black authors until I went to college. It was on my own. I mean, I was just reading my own stuff and I found Alice Walker, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens. And she writes about all these other authors that she never read in school. And it just opened up for me, the Black Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance. And just, I realized I like reading. And so it is important for students, all children, to see themselves, but also for white and Asian children to see Black excellence and to see, that we all contribute to the culture. And so I think that's part of the work that I'm wanting to do, is make sure that we have diverse reading lists across the city. We have all schools celebrating Black history. We know Bayview schools do it, but they're not doing it on the West Side. We need to be able to see ourselves everywhere, and other people need to be able to see us too, so that's my 2 cents.
No, that's perfect. And just so like, it was something like 64% of us have never actually had a Black male teacher. So that does say a lot. For you, Allison, from your role, almost like at the top as part of the commission like itself, what are some of the issues that you're seeing that are specific to Bayview versus the rest of the city?
Okay, so if we're going to talk Bayview, we got to talk race, because even though Bayview itself is a very diverse district, the reality is a lot of our majority Black schools are in the Bayview, and that impacts, I think, the services that are provided and also the perceptions that people have about the schools. And what we get caught up in is this kind of a good bad binary is what we get into with schools. Is it a good school? Is it a bad school? And there's school rating systems that are biased, and they feed educational redlining. So if you go on great schools and it tells you what the good schools are, those are all schools that are well-resourced schools that have affluent college-educated parents, and that translates to higher test scores. But then you have what ends up happening is pooling of resources, and folks who have choose schools that have, and folks who don't have the capacity to participate or don't even know that these things are going on, they end up in less resource schools. And so Bayview schools, on the other side, though, I think there has been a huge investment recently in Bayview schools, and there's been some great leadership. And with work of folks like you who are doing good work, and we're seeing a lot of community investment. We're seeing things in some Bayview schools that I don't have in my daughter's school in North Beach or on the West Side. And I think that's also a problem, is that there's a narrative that schools that serve Black kids are bad schools. And they're, in some cases, offering and doing more for students than most people are aware. And so there's this kind of a conflict between, we need to invest in schools that are serving a lot of our high needs students. The Bayview is serving more students that are homeless, more students that have emotional trauma and things like that in other parts of the city. And at the same time, some of them are doing the most amazing work and have the most dedicated teachers and have the most innovative programs going on. And we need to be able to share that with families so that they choose to invest their children in schools. And we have businesses and other nonprofits do more to invest time and energy into schools so that they can also experience some of that external success. Although I do know that there are successes happening every day that are just not, you're not aware of unless you're like a member of that community.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I want to ask each one of you, what are the tools, tips, and tactics parents can use to ensure the success of their kids to the end of the school year? And you guys can sort of...
I'll just pop in, just being involved and being present. As a parent, it communicates to your kids that it's a priority, that you value it, and you're also going to show up if they need your help. And it also communicates to their teachers that you will show up and you will ask questions. And and hold folks accountable. I think just your presence helps to support our schools, right? And it also is a measure of accountability. So that's, I think, my number one.
Yeah, I'd +1 that for sure, plus 1,000 for that. But also like building your own village. I think we've kind of gotten away from that. I would love to see more parental involvement at the schools, like PTA, stuff like that. Like I think there's some value in building our village, that youth and students see that everyone is for them, not just their parents, but like everyone has their back. I think we miss that growing up. You know, before it used to be like everyone's parents were involved. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing well in math? Like, we've lost that sense of community. And so I know we're all busy. I know we're all doing all of the things and trying to provide, but just tap in, show up for each other, show up for our students, I think. And also keeping your kids busy. Keeping your kids busy. We all have like good programs. Randy has a great program. We have a great program. 100% College Prep has a great program. After school programs, Boys and Girls Clubs. Those sort of things keep, idle minds busy. And they can stay engaged also in the summer. Keep them engaged. Take them to the library. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. Allison brought up reading. Take them to the library.
Perfect.